Well, for more on the elections, I'm joined by Sandile Swana. He's a political analyst and he's standing by for us at the Results Operations Center in Midrand. Thank you very much, Mr. Swana, for joining us. So with each passing national election, it's been noted that the voter turnout in terms of the number of people registered to vote has been coming down. Do you think it's going to be a different situation this year? It feels as if there's been a lot more engagement around politics and debate about people's lived experience in the country.
Yes, there could be, but you will remember that there was a period of voter registration. During that voter registration, certainly I did not see any significant improvement, more especially in the registration of youth. But it can happen that people have been activated by the newer parties, the Rise Mzansis and other younger parties that have come into the picture.
About the number of people that registered relative to previous elections, but of course the key thing is the percentage of people who come out to vote that are registered to actually vote. Do you think that that number could come up, given the fact that it seems as though people are talking more, maybe social media has helped that? What do you think?
Yes, that's what I've said. I'm saying that, for instance, I mean, if we're to be direct on two counts, the advent of the younger parties like Rise Mzansi and Action SA and so on, that could excite other people who had retired from voting. Two, on the other traditional place where voters have actually stayed away, you have another new party, the MK party. So those new developments could create more excitement for people to come on board and vote.
Yeah. So ANC President Cyril Ramaphosa gave his final speech as ANC leader ahead of the polls in Soweto over the weekend, summarizing the governing party's achievements as well as its future plans. With the ANC having been at the helm for so long, do you think that it's too little too late, especially when it's having to, you know, campaign amid voices that keep on saying that we need a change of leaders?
Yes, I think the statistics are clear that the ANC has failed in government and failed dismally, and Ramaphosa has been the worst president probably since 1960 in terms of performance, employment, and so on. There is nothing that the ANC can do now to say that they can do better. There's absolutely nothing they can do. More importantly, South Africans have got to move on into a period where all of us accept that we've got to appoint the most competent South Africans to all positions of responsibility, including the state president, because the state presidency has been a failure for a very long time in this country.
So you've touched on it a little bit already. What are your thoughts about some of the new political kids on the block, you know, Rise Mzansi, Bossa, PA, and the parties that have branched out from the ANC itself? How much traction do you think that these guys are likely to have? I mean, can we see the likes of Musi Maimane back in Parliament again, and the likes of Ace Magashule, for example? Yeah, obviously not all of them are in the same boat. Ace Magashule has got to make a proper deal with Jacob Zuma. I don't think on his own he's got enough firepower. The likes of Musi Maimane offer an alternative. We could well see him back in Parliament, but more importantly, these younger parties, completely younger parties, even the emergence of Bongani Baloyi and people like that, they bring something fresh to the political landscape and give us hope of something completely fresh, which we have not heard before. The two oldest parties, in contrast, have been declining, being the DA and the ANC have been declining in terms of electoral support. So South Africans do want something fresh now. Do you stay up at night and worry about what a national coalition situation will look like, given what we've seen at the metro level?
I'm looking forward to a coalition in South Africa, having lived a terrible life under
the dominance of the National Party. I was born under apartheid, and the National Party was running the Qatar in South Africa and making our lives miserable. I've also lived a miserable life under the African National Congress. It's in this dominance, abusing power and retarding the economy. So I am no longer interested personally in a dominant party strategy here in South Africa. We must be aware, as Herman Mashaba testified, that the two dominant parties played a major role in overthrowing a successful mayorship of Mayor Mashaba in Johannesburg and created a pattern of instability, which was then blamed on coalitions rather than being blamed on the authors, being the ANC and the DA. And even Ekurhuleni recently, the ANC has had a hand in destabilizing, working with the DA in destabilizing that coalition in Ekurhuleni very recently. So we must not blame coalitions when we know who the culprits are.
Based on what you say then, surely then we should be worried, because if we are going to coalition territory and the motives are still not right among some of those who have to actually, you know, face the reality that this is the reality, that they're going to be looking after their own interests rather than yours and mine and every other South African who expects services from their elected officials.
It takes a very long time, Nompo, to establish a civilization and an order of society. It may take generations, but that does not stop us from removing that which needs to be removed. We worked to remove apartheid, and we did remove apartheid and the National Party, but we were not sure what was going to come next. And this is where we are now, and what needs to be removed now must be removed until everybody accepts what the new order must be. That is the nature of how you form a nation, of how you form a civilization.
Indeed. Political analyst, Mr. Sandile Swana, thank you so much for speaking to us.